Good morning everyone. On 29th August, we, the members of Vidyalaya Malappuram family, is presenting a short program as part of National Sports Day. As we all know, we celebrate National Sports Day in the memory of Major Dhyan, who is also known as the Czar of Hockey. It's been months that a dangerous virus is ruling over this world and has kept us all inside our houses for all this time. So you'll be thinking, what's the need of celebrating a sports day? We won't be able to do much sports in our house, right? But what we don't know is that this is the time we should do some or the other physical activity to stay fit. As for now, being fit and healthy is the least we can do to survive this pandemic. So the importance of celebrating sports day is very high. Sports not only keeps us physically fit but also emotionally strong, because every time we play sports, we must be ready to accept both victory and failure. So sports is an inevitable element in our daily life. So as part of the celebration, now I request Mrs. Sushma ma'am, PGT Hindi, to welcome the guests and the dignitaries.
Honorable guest of the day, Dr. V.A. Arun, respected principal, teachers and other staff members, respected parents and dear children, good morning to everybody. Today, we are celebrating the National Sports Day and conducting a webinar on the topic Importance of Sports and Games in Daily Life. It is my proud privilege that I am given the opportunity to give welcome speech in this auspicious program. I would like to express my sincere gratitude towards the principal as well as the coordinator, promoter, for giving me such opportunity. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. V.A. Arun, Surgeon Commander PGIMER Chandigarh. Dr. Arun is an alumni of KV Malappuram, the student of 2003 pass out batch, and that year he was the third rank holder in Kerala Medical Entrance Examination and also the fourth rank holder of All India AFMC Entrance Test. He is also a very good cricket player and he was a KVS national cricket team player. I am very proud to welcome Dr. V.A. Arun as guest of honor to this program. Next, I would like to welcome our Honorable Principal, Shri V. Santosh Kumar, to this program. It is only because of the strong support and cooperation of our principal we could conduct this type of program. I welcome our beloved principal, Shri V. Santosh Kumar, to this program. Next, I would like to welcome all my colleagues, the teaching and non-teaching staffs of Vidyalaya Malappuram, to today's program. I would like to welcome all the respected parents who always give their support and cooperation in all the academic and non-academic activities conducted in the Vidyalaya. I welcome all the parents to this program. Last but not the least, I would like to welcome our beloved children, the students of Vidyalaya Malappuram, to today's webinar. Once again, I welcome you all to today's program. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
So now I request our esteemed principal, V. Santosh Kumar sir, to give us his valuable words.
Good morning. National Sports Day is celebrated to commemorate the birthday of Major Dhyan, the hockey legend and a true patriot. This day is a timely reminder for the need for sporting activity in life. Sports helps us to develop a sense of team spirit and friendliness. It also helps us to be tough physically and mentally and keeps us ready to face the endurance game called life. Happy Sports Day. Jai Hind.
Now I invite our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Arun V.A., an alumni of our Vidyalaya, also a sports star of Vidyalaya Malappuram, to impart his valuable knowledge.
Friends, this is Dr. Arun here, and it's a warm welcome to all of my friends. And I take this opportunity to talk to you all, having walked through the portals of that institution for a fairly long period of 12 years. And I'm really grateful to Mr. Pramod for giving me an opportunity to talk to you on this August day of 28th August, where we are actually commemorating Dhyan Chand as the National Sports Day. So today I've been asked to talk about the relevance of sports in life, especially the relevance of sports in student life. And having walked through the same pathway as most of you would do in the next 10 to 12 years, I can share my experience on this particular topic. So, this is briefly what I do in PGI, that's a postgraduate institute in Chandigarh. I'm a student in hemato-oncology that deals with blood cancers. So, whenever I get an opportunity, this is what I do. I get back to the field and feel myself. This is what I've been doing like since I joined the institute that includes KV as well, and I did happen to represent the under 16 team of India somewhere by I was doing my 10th standard. So this is what I did in AFMC 2. That was my previous tenure where uh, I was a faculty, I was teaching students, and whenever I would get free time, I would get back to the field and be one among them. So getting back to the topic proper, so what's health? So this gentleman actually is a Croatian sociologist who described health for the first time for all of us as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely a disease, absence or infirmity. So this is the most comprehensive definition of health, and you think we can actually make out it's a very idealistic thing, and it's not easy achieving all these facets of health. So how does one remain healthy? So that's the most important question as on date. So this gentleman is a forefather. He is known as the father of modern medicine, is Hippocrates, and it's his oath we would take before we start on the journey of medical profession. So he defined what would be the three major ingredients of living a healthy life way back in 460 AD. That's like 2500 years ago. So he spoke about three major things or three major steps that would be diet, exercise, and then sleep hygiene. All of them would have its place in maintaining a healthy life. So this is what physicians talk about in most of the medical conferences. This is where we talk about the importance of physical activity over with regards to the risk of coronary heart disease, which is actually the number one killer today. So if you see this is a beautiful study which was done somewhere in 1950s, where they actually observed what would be the prevalence of heart disease in drivers in a bus and conductors in a bus. And as you know, conductors are more active throughout the day and drivers would be sedentary most of the time, sitting like a couch potato on their chairs. And you can easily make out, as they followed up these cases over a period of years, the number of heart diseases were phenomenally more in drivers than conductors. And this did give us some idea how bad sedentary health affects your life. So how do we define it? So if you define exercise, and mind you, sports is something which is very synonymous with exercise, although you can stretch it a bit too far, but whenever you do something which is planned, structured, repetitive, and has a purpose, and that purpose has to be physical fitness, that is what exercise is meant to be. Physical activity is a very broad term. Even if you're sitting on a chair and watching television, that would constitute physical activity. So how many of us are actually exercising hard? Most of us these days are, and including my kids, I would say they are busy on this gadget. Spending all the energies on this gadget. That's the PlayStation, the latest version. And this is what some of our mothers do, and including mine, who would manage work at home and work at workspace and still do all the good. And touch wood, she remains healthy even today with no hypertension, diabetes. So who's actually exercising hard. So why did this all happen? If you go back to history, it all started when we moved from being cavemen to we got civilized, we got industrialized, we had a lot of gadgets around. And if you see, as we moved from the prehistoric times to refined adults, we actually started walking less. If you see the number of steps and Adi Manav, what you hear about in history classes would take, and what most of the men would do today, there has been a 50 to 70% decline in the daily steps, and that actually translated into more communicable diseases, reduced life expectancy, and reduced disability adjusted life in years. So, how does it help exercises and sports, and how much should we be actually putting our energy on? And what would constitute an ideal exercise regime, and how much can it actually help? And I would wind up with some take home messages. So, there are ample reasons why anybody should exercise. It's not just 50 odd, but we can actually keep adding to the list. So, for you, what is important is why exercise now? That's very important for you kids, because if you see this graph, this shows the increase in bone mass, which is our bone strength as we age. And most of us, both women and men, or what we call as girls and boys, would achieve the peak bone mass around this age of 25. So if you lose out on this major chunk, which is the growing period of what you spend time in schools, you're never going to reach the peak bone mass, because thereafter, whatever you do, whatever medicines you take, whatever treadmill you join, you're not going to achieve anything good. So important for you is concentrate on this part, do adequate exercises, combine both stretching and endurance type of exercises, and you can actually make a difference in the peak bone mass what you achieve. This is an important story just to highlight how exercises have its relevance as far as heart diseases are concerned. So this is a story which I would want to share with you, rather than going into tough details about the blood flow, the cholesterol levels and all. So this gentleman on the left was once the US president, most powerful person on earth, 1955. He suffered a massive heart attack on September of 24, and he actually was looked after by this gentleman. He is Dr. Paul Dudley White, who was his cardiologist. So what was important here is this gentleman, after 3 days of treating the president of USA, told him that you have to be out on the streets cycling. And that was a time when if somebody had a heart attack, and even in today's mind, if you see, everyone enforces bed rest. Months of bed rest, 1 month, 3 months. So this gentleman actually took the president out in the streets and would recommend cycling. And in fact, if you see, this is a recommendation even today that you're supposed to exercise as early as 2 days after suffering a massive heart attack. So he revolutionized the idea of preventive cardiology and the importance of exercises in maintaining a healthy heart. It's not only about physical health. Exercise improves each aspect of our mental health as well, be it reduction in anxiety, depression, elevating our own mood or self-esteem. You end up even having a better sleep pattern if you exercise well, and definitely it improves ourselves and social confidence. What about social health? We did define health as physical, mental, and social well-being. So, if you see the social implications of exercise, it's all about teamwork and fair play when you do exercises, especially when it is a team event. You follow a set of rules, you respect the leadership, and you have respect for others as well. So, you care and share. That's something which every student should learn right from the word go. So if you see team sports, individual sports have their own place, but if you see team sports, that is where actually you meet new people and come out of your comfort zone of gadgets and get to the ground, meet people, interact with them, grow as a human being, develop a sense of camaraderie with your teammates, and you actually have to set aside your own desires actually to be part of the team and try to achieve your goals and dreams. So this is something which every teacher and in fact every parent should know, that somebody who's an active kid learns better. And this has been proven. These are brain maps of students, if you see. So somebody who's actually done a walk or maybe a PT and comes to the class is actually more receptive than somebody who's just sitting quietly the whole day in the classroom. So maybe we can ask the college administration or the school administration to have more PT periods included on a daily basis, and I think students can then participate. So even though we know so much that we have reasons to exercise, there are common reasons why people still don't do exercises. They have all lame excuses. Maybe they say they don't have time, they don't like to sweat it out, it hurts your knees and backs. Some of them don't know what to do, and some of them don't feel it's important. So for you kids, what would be the best exercise regimen? So no matter what your age is, I would say you don't have to go and buy expensive gadgets or gizmos. Simple, plain walking is good enough, and that in fact will be the man's best medicine as on date. So, do we have opportunities for physical activity? Though we have dedicated PT periods, but I would say that you should make exercise a part of your life at each facet of it. Whether you are at school, whether you're on the way to the school, or we're back from the school back to home, or you're sitting at home. Each of this actually presents a range of opportunities for you. But important for us is, even though we have these domains available, most of us still don't utilize it. So any exercise program, you must have come across these terms: aerobic exercises, strength and flexibility training. I will briefly cover them for completion's sake. So if you see the aerobic exercises we have, they're both indoor and outdoor. So even on a rainy season, you can actually do some aerobic exercises. You don't have to buy costly equipments like treadmill or a machine to stay fit. You'll see simple outdoor activities like walking, jogging, cycling, swimming. Most of us can find time for these things in life. And as students, like at least in most of the KVs, we have our own basketball courts, tennis court, cricket is happening side by side, football is happening side by side. So we have enough avenues in our schools to get engaged in any aerobic exercise. Strength training is something different. When you make the muscles work against resistance, it actually tends to improve their strength and endurance. And this is equally important, because if you don't use them well, the muscles thin out and they won't come to your rescue. So it doesn't mean you go up and start lifting up weights in a gym. No, it is not required. Even simple push-ups and sit-ups and chin-ups are good strength training exercises. Equally important is to be flexible, and flexibility has to be doing with your joints. You should have good flexible joints, and that actually can improve your joint health as well as improve the muscle strength as well. So simple stretching exercises. This is what we do, maybe the Surya Namaskar, which you can do, or any yoga practice. Nowadays, yoga has become a part of the curriculum in most schools. So this is something which actually can be looked up into by the administration if it is already not in place. So this is what I try to put all these three group of exercises, whether it is exercises for the heart, which you call cardio activities, or flexibility exercises like yoga, or strength activities like push-ups, how much or how frequently you should be doing this. So most of the day, you should be doing what is there in the bottom of this pyramid. This is the activity pyramid. So take the stairs. Instead of driving, like this is for the teachers at least, you could actually walk down from the car park or keep the car park away from the school and then try to walk that distance. And at least 3 to 5 times a week, you should have recreational activities planned. And twice a week, if you can do these stretching and flexibility exercises. Most of the schools, I think, have a once a week yoga sessions, and in fact, that can be repeated at home and you can stay in touch with yoga. And what is most important and right on the top of the pyramid is cutting down on sitting right in front of a computer or TV time. No kid should sit in front of a computer or the television for more than 20 minutes at a stretch. You should move out, stretch your legs, take fresh air, look farther, look at the greenery around, and if required, come back and maybe spend another 20 minutes, but not more than that. Yes, that doesn't mean you don't enjoy a movie once in a week or so, but that's okay. But make it up with the kind of exercises you do so that you stay healthy. So this is the kind of activity pyramid which every school should have for its students if you have to remain fit. So what is there right at the bottom is something called moderate physical activity in the form of games you play, the walking you do. This has to be done at least 5 times a week. And then you move on to aerobics, which means you can do cycling or swimming at your leisure. And then you move on to something which is intense, like maybe playing a sport like football or basketball, and a bit of stretching exercises. And right on top is some time for yoga as well. So if you could climb up the pyramid and reach from here to here, that I think would actually put you in a good pedestal as far as leading a very healthy life is concerned. It's very important to know that the more you burn, that means the more you sweat it out in the fields, the better you are receptive for learning. So if a kid who spends about 60 minutes of those 24 hours in a day in some kind of activity, which does stretch you, maybe makes you more flexible, maybe raises your heart rate a bit, you see you become more receptive after that and your report cards actually become better. This is what every parent and every teacher should know about. So how much? So if you talk about exercises for the heart, they are grouped into two groups, the moderate group and the vigorous group. The moderate ones are the ones where you actually do walking or cycling and you can still talk while you are doing the activity. And this is fairly 2.5 hours of such activities spread over the week. The group which is called as the vigorous when you are actually breathing hard and fast. So you cannot be talking during that time period. So if you're running or if you're dancing or any competitive sports you engage or any brisk swimming you do, that constitutes what is called vigorous exercise. And I talked about strength training where you do push-ups or maybe grown-ups can try some weights. If you do that twice a week, I think that should be good. So what's equally important to know that everyone can start off in this graph. So this graph shows the risk of diseases vis-a-vis the activity of fitness level. So if you go higher up on this axis, it means your disease prevalence is very high, and this means activity levels are very high. So what is important for us to know is if somebody who is inactive just improves his activity level by even 10%, the chronic diseases actually come down by a large chunk. So the health benefits received are very high. That's the importance. You can start any day of your life, and tomorrow may be the day for most of you to get into some physical activity, read the health benefits, and for the people who are already on high on competitive sports, the rider is beyond those limits which I told you. Even if you keep exercising, you're going to hurt yourself, because beyond this curve, or beyond this point, the disease burden actually goes up. So you have to strike a balance between the two. So if I have to finish, I would leave these take-home messages for you kids on this sports day. What I would recommend is, please walk as much as you can each day, whether on the way to the school, within the school, on the stairs, around the corridor, or in the ground. And what would be a brisk walking for most of you is, if you could cover a kilometer in 8 minutes, that would be reasonable. So if it is feasible for most of you who could commute from home to school, you should be walking, or you can cycle. But stay safe. For those of you who know cycling and can learn swimming, that would be a better choice even than walking. But do spend at least 30 minutes a day in some physical activity you love. It's very important for us that these exercises are going to help us maintain our health as well as our personality. And when you start facing challenges in life, this is really going to see you through. Thank everyone for a patient hearing, and I would like to thank the college school administration for extending this warm invitation for an interactive session with some of my very own close friends. Thank you.
Now I invite Mr. Pramod P., Physical Education Teacher, Kendriya Vidyalaya Malappuram, to deliver his words.
Respected Principal, teachers, and my dear students. Today, on 29th August, we are celebrating the National Sports Day. As you know, 29th August has been selected as the National Sports Day to commemorate the legend of hockey, Major Dhyan Chand's birthday. He was the best hockey player in the world in the beginning of hockey in Olympics. As you know, from 26th onwards, India was the world champions. India won gold medal continuously 8 times in Olympics. In that, the first 3 occasions were marked by the wonderful performance or magical performance of Major Dhyan Chand. He was a member of our army, and his contribution has to be remembered by celebrating 29th August as our National Sports Day. I would like to pinpoint some of the points which we have to take care during this pandemic situation. As you know, the COVID-19 pandemic have completely blocked all the sports activities, especially outdoor games and athletic events. We are tied up inside the 4 walls. We cannot organize any major sports events or even any individual competitions also. I think this is the correct time to think about the health and wellness of every individual. During this pandemic situation, we have to take care of our health, because the resistance of our body, the resistance from any infectious diseases depends upon our health status. So, we should utilize our time to improve our physical fitness and positive health habits. You know why we are very much joyful or happy when we are in sports, in games situations, or when we are engaged in game activities. It's really an inborn quality or a basic instinct of human beings. This instinct has been infused in all of us, just for keeping our body and mind healthy. Just physical fitness or being physically fit cannot be mentioned as a fitness of an individual. Your physical, emotional and social fitness must be considered. The sports and games always provide you an opportunity to experience the real life situations always. Like in game situations, you will be facing some situations where you have to take sudden decisions, whether to pass the ball, to hold the ball, or to avoid an opponent suddenly. And at the most, you are practiced to accept the defeat. You are trained to face the defeat. You are getting the opportunity to appreciate your opponents when you are got defeated. So these type of qualities always improve the personality of an individual. So active participation in sports and games always contribute for every individual to develop his all-round personality. In this situation, especially when you are locked in, we cannot participate in any outdoor activity. We have to adopt suitable solutions, or we have to switch on to some other methods through which we have to keep our body fit. For that, we can adopt yoga or aerobic dances, or at least jogging in and around your residence will always keep you fit. The main factor is you should give some activity physically and emotionally to keep your body fit, and that definitely improves your social and emotional physical well-being, what we call as the health. So keep away from the diseases, stay happy, stay fit, happy all. Thank you.
Now I invite our beloved Thomas sir to share his words.
Respected Principal Sir, Sri V. Santosh Kumar, our guest of honor and distinguished alumni of the school, Dr. V.A. Arun, our sports teacher, Sri Pramod Sir, and dear children. Today, we are celebrating the National Sports Day. We remember today the greatest of India's hockey players, Dhyan. This year's celebration of National Sports Day takes place at a very unprecedented time. Stadiums across the globe are shut. Most of the sports activities, like the Olympics, are either postponed or cancelled. Whatever limited sports activities are taking place are without spectators. A pandemic of this magnitude has affected everyone's lives. I am sure you would love to come to school, talk to your friends, learn together in the class, play some games, and so on. But for the past 6 months, you have been confined to your homes and you have been taking online classes. This is a huge challenge for us. The challenge is how to remain yourself fit and agile. Well, extraordinary times require extraordinary solutions. And celebrations like this National Sports Day should give us an opportunity to innovate and find whatever ways you can keep yourself fit within the limited space available to you. According to me, everyone can be a sports person, provided he or she is willing to work hard, is disciplined, and has the right attitude. Have you heard about the greatest of marathon athlete, Eliud Kipchoge? He came from a very normal background in Kenya. He had to walk every day some 4 kilometers from his home to school and back to home. He made it a point that every day with his school bag, he will run to the school. And once his class is over, he will run back to his home. So every day almost 8 kilometers of running. And this practice from his childhood made him a great champion of the world. Last year, he ran 42.2 kilometers in just less than 2 hours and created a marvelous record. There is a Dhyan Chand in you, children. There is a Kipchoge in you, provided you never give up on your goals. I know it is a difficult time, but you have to find out some innovative ways to keep the sportsman spirit high in you. It could be practicing yoga, it could be some indigenous games, it could be badminton, for example, or it could be some kind of home workouts. You know the limitations that you have it at home, but you have to try to improve yourself within the given limitations. If you are able to do that, then that will show your real sportsmanship. I wish you the very best on the occasion of National Sports Day. Thank you.
Now I invite Ms. Olivia T. Xavier, a national level table tennis player, to deliver her speech.
Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have. Sri Buddha once said, "To keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep the mind strong and clear." Today, August 29 is celebrated as the National Sports Day in our country. It's the birthday of the legend Major Dhyan Chand, the hockey wizard who was born on 29 August 1905 in Allahabad. Under the leadership of Dhyan Chand, Indian hockey team has achieved several victories. He led India into 3 Olympic gold medals in 1928, 1932 and 1936. He has secured over 400 international goals and 1,000 national goals in his 22-year career. Major Dhyan Chand was a great player in hockey that if the ball once stuck in a stick, then it used to remove only after scoring the goal. For this reason, that once a stick was broken during a match to check whether there is any magnet inside it. He is such an amazing sports player. The government of India has decided to celebrate his birthday as National Sports Day since 2012. Sports are considered as very important part for the physical and mental development of humans. The person who plays any sports remain always fit and healthy. A healthy mind always live in a healthy body. In 2019, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has launched Fit India campaign to encourage people in physical activities and sports in everyday lives and make our country a healthy one. On this day, the President of India honors the eminent sports personalities with major awards including Ghel Ragna, Dhyan Chand Award, Dronacharya Award and Arjuna Award. The sole reason behind celebrating National Sports Day lies in promoting the spirit of sportsmanship and propagating the message of various sports. On this occasion of the National Sports Day, we should pay our tribute to all the famous sports people of our nation who holds our nation upheld. We, the youth of India, must always bear the words of the famous sportsman Arthur Ashe in mind and march ahead. You are never really playing against an opponent. You are playing with yourself, your own highest standards. And when you reach your limits, that's the real joy. Jai Hind.
Now I invite our beloved Suresh Sir, HM in charge, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. V.A. Arun, respected Principal Sir, all the staff members of KV Malappuram and my dear students. As all of you know, August 29th is being celebrated as National Sports Day in India every year. This day marks the birthday of great hockey legend Major Dhyan Chand Singh, who brought 3 Olympic gold medals for India. In this year, we are not able to conduct any live activities due to the outbreak of COVID-19. But I am very happy to be a part of this webinar. At this juncture, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. V.A. Arun for his valuable contribution in this program. I am very happy to share that I was his first standard class teacher in mid-90s in KV Malappuram. My sincere gratitude to our principal sir also for his valuable guidance and initiative. And I would like to thank all the teachers, students and parents for taking part in this webinar. Thank you.